This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Plans on public servants' manpower placement revealed. National Disability Day observed. And no protest march in the nation's capital. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. The Department of Personnel Management will review and soon apply the 10-20-70% manpower placement in the coming years. This will enable public servants mostly based in towns and cities to return to the provincial and district levels to help develop each province in the country. This was made known by the Secretary for Personnel Management, Haya Sansan, today during the official signing of an MOU between PILAG and Dowley College of Higher Education.
Under the 2020 to 2050 Human Resource Development Plan, issues like public servants' performance will be addressed. A-STEN Secretary Sansan said change is imminent in the public service in PNG.
Applying this 10, 20, 70% manpower placement at the provincial level and at the district level. We want to limit public servants' numbers at Waigani.
Secretary Sansan clarified that those who remain at Waigani will be responsible for policy development only. About 20% of public servants in towns and cities will be relocated to the provincial level, while about 70% will be relocated to the district level.
This is the time to build the districts. Enough of building, the city and Waigani. We need to build the provinces and the districts. Our people, our public servants must go back to those districts and build up those districts. So it's very important that, we have district enabling environment as well. Or, services like banking and aid post and education, very important.
According to Secretary Sansan, all this is contained in the department's 30-year plan. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The Department of Works and Highways has signed a 68 million kina funding to 4 local contractors through the ongoing partnership with ExxonMobil under the tax credit scheme today in Port Moresby. This is under the Connect PNG policy for the contractors to carry out specific and general maintenance and repairs to sealed pavement, drainage structures and road infrastructures in Hela Province.
The Secretary for Department of Works and Highways, David Were, said, connecting PNG is not about building roads. However, they are building local contractors, local capacity, and building local consultants. Among the 5 contracts, one of the bigger contractors is going to Tura Holdings Limited to do a 8 million kina worth of road survey, geotechnical investigation, and preliminary design of the proposed 4-lane road from Baruni Junction to Lealea Village and Napa Napa feeder roads along the Baruni Road.
We have been continuously using these, local contractors, and I'm happy to say that we are satisfied with the performance. They are now able to seal roads. So we can't underestimate. If we are billing our local contractors properly, we can't underestimate the capability.
The Minister for Works and Highways, Solen Mirisim, says, Connect PNG program is not a single project. Rather, it is a program that both roads and bridges projects spread across 14 road corridors, covering the entire country. He says the program is planned and programmed to be implemented in 3 phases. Phase 1 is from 2020 to 2027 and cost 7.982 billion kina. Phase 2 is from 2028 to 2034 and will cost 6.754 billion kina. And Phase 3 is from 2035 to 2040 and will cost 5.264 billion kina. Minister Mirisim says they need to ensure that the Phase 1 program activities are adequately funded and implemented in a timely fashion. Only then a perfect stage would have been established to launch Phase 2.
Phase 1 is a very critical success in the timeliness of the entire program. So you put more money, and if you do it well in Phase 1, then 2 and 3 will just fall in line. So this morning, we are here to witness the 68 million Guinea tax credit projects. Tax credits are coming in. We have donors like ADB, World Bank. We have other donors who are also contributing, and also the government of PNG through Connect PNG putting down funding. So there is massive programs under this Connect PNG. Also, currently we have 247 to 50 contractors running. We have now just added another 5 contractors now.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Works and Highways, Solan Mirisim, has announced today that under the Connect PNG program, more than 10,000 job opportunities have been created for Papua New Guineans, and more are expected to be employed with these 5 additional contracts that are in the pipeline.
The minister says the 2023 budget is the first budget to implement the Connect PNG Funding and Implementation Arrangements Bill 2021. Therefore, the government has allocated 1.56 billion kina for the program. This indicates the government's commitment and seriousness in ensuring that the program is fully funded and successfully implemented so that PNG is 100% connected by roads. Minister Mirisim says the estimated cost is 20 billion kina to be funded in a span of 20 years, which translates to 1 billion kina per year, and they look forward to creating more jobs in the coming years.
There is massive programs under this Connect PNG. Also, currently we have 247 to 50 contractors running. We have now just added another 5 contractors now. We have almost 10,000 employees, 250 contractors on sites already, employing 10,000 plus, creating jobs, opportunity for local and the nationals. And also now we are increasing another 5 contractors now. So every day we have contracts coming in. We are running contracts. The more contracts we give, the more those contractors will employ more employees in each of the contractors. So now we have 5 contractors given 5 contracts. Each of them will employ 150 to 200, 300 employees.
Chairman of one of the 4 local contractors engaged to carry out road construction work says they are looking forward to employing more than 250 employees in their allocated contract.
Currently, we have a road project that's going on. We've got 150. We have 150 on our books right now, employees. And then we have about 20 subcontractors. So those 20 subcontractors, that's for one project. So that's Halingwood to Inawi, about 13 kilometers. We are currently on it right now. So this contract will also increase our capacity, plus having more contractors, subcontractors on, and improving labor engagement. So on our current contract, apart from others, we're probably looking at about 250. And from the 20 subcontractors we have, we'll probably add another 5.
Esther Gane, National EMTV News.
Minister for Works and Highways, Solan Mirisim, has explained the coordination between the Department of Works and National Highways and the districts to build roads. He explained today during the MOU signing. In line with the Marape Rosso government's vision to connect the unconnected and serving the unserved, the road infrastructure program is progressing to better the lives of Papua New Guineans. Minister for Works and Highways, Solan Mirisim, has explained that all roads classified as national roads are the department's responsibility.
We have given powers back to the provinces and districts to manage their DSIP and PSIP. And DSIP and PSIP is not packed with works and highways, it's packed with national planning. So it direct funded straight to the district and provinces. So once we have this authority in place, they manage the funds. But it's good to have works to oversee those programs so that it is our standard.
Minister Mirisim further explained the functions of the provincial works offices and the engagements of the districts.
The department places funding for province solid district roads are currently being dispatched directly to provinces and districts. So the districts and provinces need to engage works to make sure we oversee the fundings and the roads that they are building. Officers that directly engage with province and district administrations. Many provinces and districts lack technical capacity. That is true. Capacity, therefore, our engineers always involved in one way or another in many of the projects funded with provincial and district improvement programs funds, especially DSIP and PSIP that is going down to the districts.
He stated the engagement strategy through performance agreements between the provinces and districts to manage and implement their projects and account for performance.
We have, some districts have given, have signed with the Department of Works and Highways already, and we have given them powers, some provinces. So we have to account for performance. This arrangement for their performance accountability is very important as the project districts as legislated road authorities are increasingly being funded directly for their respective road networks. Hence, it is incumbent on the national government through the department to ensure that the projects being funded are being developed to accepted standard and specification or engineering standards.
The annual National Disability Day was celebrated today at the Department of Community Development and Religion at Waigani, Port Moresby. While this day is recognized as a day of celebrating persons living with disabilities, the sad truth is that the majority of the PWDs remain illiterate, unskilled and untrained with no support.
Within the PNG context from the last national census, the number of people with disabilities is estimated to be at 16%. This will be approximately nearly 1 million people in PNG who are living with some form of disability or impairment. Of this group, about 2% of people will receive services. This means that the bulk of people with disabilities, the remaining 98%, are not receiving any support. This was the thoughts of Jack Simbo, the Deputy Secretary for the newly created Equality and Inclusion Division at the Department of Community Development and Religion.
It is actually an issue that cuts across sectors, and it actually calls for what we call a disability inclusive budgeting. Disability inclusive budgeting is something that can be shouldered by all agencies which I've mentioned to be able to address particular areas that they are mandated or they look after.
In light of the lack of support for PWDs, Mr. Simbo urged the government to take disability agendas seriously and to start investing in the disability sector, as PWDs are equal members of communities in what he terms as disability inclusive development, which provides opportunity for the PWDs to participate on equal basis with others in the communities, allowing them to realize their full potential.
I would like to seek that support for those organizations who are working with us to be assisted with grants. They have their work plans for the year, and a lot of times they are struggling on their own. They are sourcing funding from some development partners. I would like to ask if they can support them with the grant system.
Since 2019, National Disability Day has been celebrated here at the Department for Community Development and Religion. And while there have been policies put forward by the government and a lot of rhetoric on assisting people living with disabilities, sadly, nothing has been done in this space. Now, in 2013, the PNG government went before the United Nations General Assembly and ratified the rights of a person living with disabilities. The PNG government has the responsibility to report back to see how far they've implemented this, but nothing has been done. It is organizations like People Living with Disabilities, PNG, that are advocating for the Disabled Authority Bill to be put forward in Parliament, which is in its legislative state.
It will hopefully set the framework for government to take more action. Like right now, when you look at the plight of persons with disabilities, we don't have, a lot of our persons with disabilities lack access to basic services, whether it's in health or education or water and sanitation, even shelter. We don't, I think New Ireland is the only province that has some form of social protection with the pension that they provide to their persons with disabilities.
Today provided an opportunity to mobilize actions to achieve the goal of full and equal enjoyment of human rights and participation in society by persons with disabilities and the way forward. But in this space, more needs to be done by the government and stakeholders so awareness trickles down to the districts. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
Police in the nation's capital are not aware of any planned protest march. This is from the Office of the Divisional Commander NCD and Central and the Office of the Metropolitan Superintendent NCD. This notice comes after the much talked about protest march that is said to be staged tomorrow.
In a statement released this afternoon, NCD and Central Divisional Commander Anthony Wagambi Jr. and the city's Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika assured the general public that there will be no staged protest march. This comes after rumors were circulating on social media platforms about an intended protest march. According to the statement, no individual or groups have formally written or approached police to stage a protest march. Every protest or public gathering must have approval from the police and in consultation with its Provincial and Good Order Committee. ACP Wagambi Jr. and Metsub Sika have jointly assured everyone in the city that it will be business as usual and police will be out in numbers and in full force tomorrow. Schools, business houses and government services are urged to carry out business as usual tomorrow. Lindy Suharupa, National MTV News.
National MTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National MTV News. The Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Dowley College of Higher Education to provide courses for its students and interested public servants in Hela and surrounding Highlands provinces. The MOU was signed today in Port Moresby by PILAG CEO Michael Barabe and Dowley College of Higher Education Principal Dr. Pongie Kichawen.
Dowley College of Higher Education, formerly known as Dowley Teachers College, will be venturing into greater heights with the signing of this MOU with the Pacific Institute of Governance and Leadership. With the signing of this MOU, it now enables the college to teach government programs and courses to its students, equipping them for public service. According to the principal of the college, Dr. Pongie Kichawen, the only course offered at the school formerly was Diploma in Primary Teaching. However, for the first time now, the college will be able to offer bachelor teaching programs, including human resource, business, and other courses as well.
If you were to conduct a course on human resource, yes, of course, that can be there. You run a course on accounting, yes, the expertise will be there. We have the facilities there. We have ICT already set up, and anything else that they need, for example, we'll be able to facilitate that on their behalf. And hoping that one day our staff, as we expand into becoming a university, then our staff will be now much more involved in actually teaching those programs.
Dr. Kichawan said the institution has the facilities and personnel ready to take on this, and this MOU will set the pace for PILAG and the college to collaborate towards achieving their common goal. Chief Executive Officer of PILAG, Michael Barobe, said now personnel at Dowley can be taught on location with these government programs and be able to induct a school teacher into a public servant at the district level.
PILAG will only be the mentoring school for anyone who wants to be a public service. You need to have a certificate from here, understanding the government. You see, when that comes, the graduates from Dali, if they want a public service, they have to get a certificate from it. So this partnership, they are establishing for their graduates to make their way to become a public servant out there.
Chairperson of PILAG and Secretary for the Department of Personnel Management, Taye Sansan, whilst fully supporting this collaboration, added that those who wish to enter the public workforce must be inducted well.
So we are happy that such training institutions and colleges like Dowley College of Higher Education is coming on board with the support of Department of Higher Education and Education Department generally. We want to see, these are our future public servants, and our children, they need to come through the system properly and, go to that higher level.
Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
A memorandum of understanding was signed today between the PNG National Research Institute and the PNG Defence Force to focus on building capacity, research and academic collaboration. These include reviewing of PNGDF strategic policy documents, training and the development of PNGDF personnel in research.
Director for PNG NRI, Dr. Osborne Sanida, said this MOU will now provide a framework for PNGDF and NRI to work in collaboration in addressing security issues in the country.
These areas include, which are captured in the MOU, socio-economic issues that have security and defense implications. Secondly, review of strategic policy documents. Number 3, research and development, including conducting joint research between PNG NRI and PNGDF.
Commander for PNG Defence Force, Major General Mark Goina, said the PNGDF has a vital role to play in safeguarding the country's national security and often are faced with challenges to fulfill its constitutional mandate. He said such collaboration with NRI will go a long way.
Collaborating with PNG NRI in the research space will empower enable the defense to formulate plans and make informed decisions against a dynamic environment.
Major General Goina said research is fundamental in any organization and the PNGDF is no different.
The welfare of our citizens is something that resonates very clearly with both organizations. As such, the step that we have taken to formalize a MOU is a significant achievement, as it provides for a collaborative approach in effort areas that allows both organizations to touch the lives of our people.
There will also be an exchange of academic staff among the two institutions and joint supervision of postgraduate research students. Major General Mark Goina said this partnership is significant between these two institutions. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
With the signing of the MOU between PNG National Research Institute and the PNG Defence Force, Commander for PNGDF, Major General Mark Goina, has asked the PNG NRI to extend trainings on capacity building and research to other PNGDF centres across the country.
And at this juncture, I would like to say here that with the establishment of the Force, Joint Forces Academy in Lae, I'm hoping that there will be more collaborative between the National Research Institute and our academy in Lae which will house both house the PNGDF, police, and correctional services. And we are hoping the other public servants, public agencies who deal with security and our research institutions can be able to be part of that.
A full delegation comprising of members of the National Parliament are in the autonomous region of Bougainville for a week-long visit to the region. The primary purpose of their visit is to hear from the members of the autonomous Bougainville government and to fully understand the process thus far of the Bougainville Peace Agreement.
The parliamentarians were met at Tibuka Airport by the Attorney General of Bougainville, Ezekiel Massat, Regional Member Peter Tiamalili Jr., Member for Central Bougainville, Simon Dumarinu, and other members of the region's House of Representatives. The official visit is vital as the members must understand the process as decisions on the result of the Bougainville referendum will be addressed by them. The delegation had an opportunity to attend a session in the House of Representatives yesterday. Amongst the delegation were Member for Okapa and Chairman of Law Reform Committee, Saki Soloma, Member for Popondetta Open, Richard Masere, Member for Nipa Kutubu, Dr. Billy Joseph, Member for Tewai CSC, Dr. Kobi Bomareo, Member for Koroba Lake Kapiago, William Bando, Member for Ijivitari, David Arore, and a Member for Gumine, Lucas Dawa Dekena. The delegation traveled to Wakunai earlier today and is expected to visit other areas within the region. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Ward councillors and village court magistrates in Southern Highlands Province have to be recognized by the national government in terms of salary payments. This concern was raised by Lower Mendi Local Level Government President James Mbia recently.
While welcoming the Solicitor General Tauvasa Tanuvasa and his team to Mbongu District for the Highlands Regional Client Outreach Program, President Mbia pointed out that ward councillors and village court magistrates have continued their work without any pay. President Mbia said many local communities have adopted a new tradition where conflicting parties paid village magistrates to hear and solve their cases. He queried if this was what the national government wanted.
The very, very special people on the ground, as I observe, the village court magistrates aren't paid. They are not paid. They are not looked after by the government. You can preach about law and order. You can talk about peace. But who's going to implement it? Who's the number going to put in election? The councillors. It is the village court magistrates. Please, government, you mean try and look somewhere or this legal line?
MBS says village councillors were happy for a while when Mbongu MP Pilani Ningi was the Minister for Intergovernmental Relations, as ward councillors were put on payroll prior to the 2022 general elections.
Mbongu, I'm talking finished, I'm talking to some councillors about putting him on payroll. He did it. Thank you. You make him. Now they were on the payroll for a couple of fortnights and then gonna stop. What is happening there? Minister, investigate. Thank you.
It was pointed out that addressing issues at the ground level started with village court magistrates and ward councillors. Natasha Ovoy, National EMTV News.
And now we take a look at the NAS Fund market report. The Kina closed and changed at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4093 Australian dollars, $0.2474 euro, 35.71 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed lower, copper closed lower, palm oil closed higher, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed higher. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break with more stories. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. A number of schools in the Delta Fly electorate are undergoing feasibility studies at the moment before formal work can begin on upgrading them. This was the update from the first MP from the newly created electorate of Delta Fly, Agena Gamai.
The Delta Fly electorate is made up of riverways and tributaries, marshland with beautiful flora and fauna. The difficulty in movement of the people living in the area will now be a thing of the past thanks to the local Delta Fly MP, Agena Gamai.
For the high school, it's very important for Bamu High School because the Bamu people, that's where I actually come from. All our people, like, they travel to Daru. Daru is a long distance, that is in South Fly. And for our people from Bamu, they travel all the way to our secondary school, Balimode High School, and that is a struggle.
From the outside, it may seem to many onlookers that this is the MP's first venture into politics as leader of the new electorate of Delta Fly. But Mr. Gamai is no stranger to politics, having served as Deputy Governor, working his way up as a ward councillor. Mr. Gamai revealed that 5 million kina in funds are earmarked for the project for schools.
So we have the funding available, about 5 million in non-CMC funding, so that's why I took that team down to do a feasibility study. So they, put all the drawings and all these things so that we can be able to access the money. So right now they are doing the putting up all the survey plan and doing all the drawing, and when all that is done, then we will be able to submit all our documentation to mining department, so we will access the funding.
A long-term deal will also be looked into the local contractor carrying out the feasibility studies.
And then we are also looking at signing a MOU with Penn Trade Pacific so that we will engage them as soon as funding is available. Then we will be able to be working with them to at least they will go and put up buildings for us. And I don't want the timber buildings. I want the buildings to be done properly with brick and good materials so that the buildings can last longer years.
According to Mr. Gamai, knowing where to assist in empowering the people in developing his electorate is the key to successful implementation. Rocky Iso, National MTV News.
More than 1,000 students from the Port Moresby Technical College have received their certificates in various trades during their 59th graduation ceremony held this week. The two-day graduation ceremony saw friends, families and invited guests in attendance to witness the event.
To administer
the graduates have been encouraged to contribute meaningfully to the country's development and not just to earn their national certificates and advanced diplomas. The school's principal, Henry Wamaingu, challenged the tradesmen and women to continue to use their skills and knowledge to progress in their career paths. Martina Masso is one female graduate who has completed her studies in Printing and Graphic Arts National Certificate 3.
You feel free, unlike those streets and other colleges, like you're gonna feel scared and like stay by yourself. But when you enter like technical schools, it's not meant for only boys, but it's also meant for girls. Like you can be free, talk to boys, and yeah, it's nice. The environment is very nice. So I challenge you girls to apply there. There are many course taken there, mechanical, heavy equipment feeder, and so forth.
Another graduate, Sakias Dreme, who graduated with Automotive Light Vehicle National Certificate 2, says he wants to set up his own mechanical workshop in Wewak, Isipik province, to serve his people.
It's a developing country, so we need more tradespeople to develop this nation. That's why I choose Port Moresby Technical College. I have big dreams ahead to own a workshop for light vehicles. Yes.
During today's graduation ceremony, it was very emotional for the family and friends of one of the students the late Woyeng Nigel, who passed on last year. His sister, holding on to his photo frame, had to walk up to receive his certificate. Jim John, National EMTV News.
Milne Bay Province is prepared to relaunch the biggest Milne Bay Music Festival featuring artists from all over the country. The music festival will commence on Friday the 14th to the 16th of April 2023. The Milne Bay Out Loud Music Festival 2023 is a 3-day music festival that will happen at Alice Wedaka Park in the heart of Alotau town. It will feature local artists and bands from different music genres. Purposely, the event is to promote youth empowerment, encourage tourism, and provide a platform for advocacy in law and order through arts in the province. The excitement is on as preparations are underway. Chairman of Milne Bay Out Loud Music Festival, Owen Abel, gives a brief rundown of what is expected during the festival.
An idea to allow our youth to express themselves through original music. We're hoping that it grows into something that encourages tourism and then therefore helps to stimulate our little economy in Alotau by having people come in from outside, stay in the hotels, buy food, listen to the music, buy from our small producers and have a really fun time.
Abel said they are receiving good support from the private sector as well as the provincial leadership and business support.
Excited about the festival because we have not only do we have good support in terms of sponsorship, but we also have good support from our artists from all around the country. We have 39 registered bands.
The event itself will provide a hub for families to gather and enjoy the gist of performing arts. It will also provide an avenue for local SMEs to set up their stalls and sell their local products.
The stalls are reserved for our small and medium enterprises as an opportunity for them to sell their natural products, their homemade products.
Meanwhile, Abel is appealing for support from communities and also for their provincial leaders to step in and show their utmost support to the people of Alotau.
I would encourage, like I said, the community to get involved, support the event, support your bands, support the event in ways like I mentioned with helping keep peace and harmony and making Milne Bay a beautiful place. I encourage all the families to come out, all the kids to come out, have a good time. Just treat it as a fun weekend where there's live music, and it's just a big jam session where we get to listen to really good music.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sport. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Ahead of the Queensland Rugby League Host Plus Cup Round 4 this Saturday, the SPPNG Hunters is on bye. The Hunters have so far completed 3 rounds of the season 2023 campaign. They will look to face the Northern Pride in Round 5 scheduled for the 15th of next month.
After having lost their Round 3 match on home soil against the Brisbane Tigers last weekend, the SPPNG Hunters is currently on bye ahead of Round 4 this coming weekend. The SPPNG Hunters are seated at the 5th spot of the Queensland Rugby League Host Plus Cup ladder by 3 points out of the 15 participating franchises. As the Hunters are on bye for Round 4 this weekend, their opponents from Round 3, the Brisbane Tigers, will face off with the Ipswich Jets in Brisbane. The Hunters will take this weekend to train and prepare for Round 5, where they will take on the Northern Pride at 5:30 p.m. at Barlow Park in Brisbane on Saturday the 15th of April 2023. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Total of 55 teams have registered to play in the Port Moresby Soccer Association preseason game. The man behind the preseason competition, Peter Matthews, says the competition will run for a month prior to the proper season playoff.
A total of 55 football clubs have registered to compete in the preseason tournament of the Port Moresby Soccer Association. Of the 55 participating clubs, the men's division has 40 teams, while the women's consists of 15 teams. These teams have been further divided to house 10 pools of 8 men's and 2 of women's teams. PMSA competition manager Peter Matthew explains further.
PMSA preseason will run it for about 4 weekends. So we do have a 40 men's team and 15 women's team participating in this preseason tournament. Okay, for the men's division, the 40 men's team, we have break down the number of teams and put 5 in each pool. So we got actually 8 pools in men's division and 2 pools in women's division.
Manager Matthew said that the preseason playoff will be used to identify and select top players who will compete in the season proper.
It's for the team managers and coaches to identify their players for the proper season, which all by time working my best team role during the proper season when it comes.
Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Moving to overseas sports now, and in soccer, the Socceroos suffered 2 points to 1 loss to Ecuador at the Marvel Stadium in Australia.
Went a goal up. That was thanks to Brandon Borrello. That's the first piece of good news. That was his first international goal. And what about that? I mean, no Sam Kerr celebration, but loving it all the same. Now, they did concede 2 goals after that to lose 2-1. But I am stealing Tara Rushton of Channel 10, she was presenting last night in the coverage, and she said, let's add up the aggregate score with the first match of the series. So we're actually going...
In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz is on track to become the world's #1.
To Australian tennis fans, because he made the semi-final of the Australian Open this year, of course, losing to Novak Djokovic, but Carlos Alcaraz has defeated him 6-4, 6-4 to go through to the quarterfinals, where he'll take on Taylor Fritz. And the situation is, if he can win Miami and defend his title, he retains the world #1. So he keeps it until potentially Monte Carlo, when he will play against Novak Djokovic. Now, Tommy Paul, you've got a feel for him. Being on the other side of the court and facing shot making like this, Carlos Alcaraz had the crowd on their feet with a mixture of drop shots, volleys, just absolute blistering winners, Roz. A bit like when you play tennis, but there's no crowd up and about. I would happily...
And in netball, the Melbourne Vixens beat the Collingwood Magpies as they were off an umpire error.
Very late win over the Pies, and it stands. Kamwenda, she's a superstar. She scored a 2-point shot after the siren to seal that win for the Vixens, but there was a major officiating error after the Vixens benefited from receiving 2 centre passes in a row during the final minutes. Of course, it doesn't matter who scores. It's supposed to alternate those centre passes, but Netball Australia say that despite that, the result of the match stands. So the Vixens keep the win. It wasn't a great weekend for Netball Australia. They also had a blackout. The lights went off over in Adelaide in the Thunderbirds game.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
The weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region: Port Moresby City and Alatau, partly sunny, fine. Daru, partly cloudy with few evening showers and thunderstorms. Kerema, partly cloudy with brief evening showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, mostly fine.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Wednesday, the 29th of March, 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.